Okay, yo, yo, yo. Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Daily Go Getimism Show. We do this every single day, every day. Every day it rains, every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar, with the and if you can't say Omar with the well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show, all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feel like real men and women should also. Tonight on this Hump Day Wednesday, we are talking about not really a rebel, definitely not a kiss ass. What do you do? Who are you? And how do you fit in when you're not really a rebel and definitely not a kiss ass? Oh, well, you would think that this would be easy to describe because more than likely, this describes way more people than it doesn't fit the description of. You know, although we may all have some rebel in us, we may have a rebellious nature, we may question authority, some of us may reject authority, or we may feel like, hey, listen, you ain't the boss of me, you don't tell me what to do, I don't have to jump or ask how high when you say jump, things like that. It's not that hard to understand. It's not a hard concept to really grasp onto, but how far do we take it? That's what separates the men from the boys when we're talking about this subject. How far do we take it? You know, when we say that we're not really a rebel, or when or even if you have described yourself as being a rebel, how far do you take your rebellion? You know, how off the cuff or off script do you go when it comes to your discipline? You know, when you look at the people that you have grown up with or the people that you have known throughout your life, the ones that you would consider to be rebels, we have to probably put them in certain categories. When we start talking about who's a rebel and who's not a rebel, when we say to ourselves who a rebel is, what probably attracts us to those rebels or keeps us away from those rebels are the causes or the reasons that they rebel in the first place. You know, you're probably not the type of person that follows somebody just because they're going somewhere or just because they're leading us somewhere. But we all know people who do that. But when you start talking about the people that you have known who have fashioned themselves as being rebels, you have to think like, well, the people that I know that have been rebels, the people that I know who have called themselves rebels, what have been the things that they rebelled against? You may have had a bad friend when you were in school. You know, you ever have a friend that just was always down to get in some trouble, always down to cause some trouble, always down to break the rules for some reason. Now, you might have been cool with that person. It doesn't necessarily mean that you always follow behind that person. It doesn't mean that you mimic that person. It doesn't mean that you always went along with that person. And it doesn't mean that you always agreed with the rebellious nature that they displayed all the time. You know, like you may have grown up to parents who didn't appreciate you getting in trouble all the time. And they may have done something to you or about you if you were the type that went against your home training. So in other words, you may have stayed out of trouble when you were in school. You may not have been the type that always had to have your mom or your dad come up to the school and get you out of the principal's office or get you off of suspension or return you back from suspension. You may not have been the person that was always getting in trouble. Maybe you just went to school, did your work, learned what you had to learn, passed your tests, went to the next grade, and you know, went through school that way. School might have been a good place for you. For some people, school was it. School was where they built up their social portfolio. That's where they found themselves. That's where they actually learned. Yeah. But it's also the place where you probably have formed the most different friendships than you would have on your own. This is the one thing I have against homeschooling. And this is not a knock to anyone who participates in homeschooling. But one thing I don't like about homeschooling, and the thing that I question about homeschooling, is when you are not actively around other students or kids in your own age frame, where do you learn to work out certain social inequities, social cues, social problems that you definitely have to face when you are dealing with a classroom full of people, a lunchroom full of people, a recess yard full of people? You know, one thing you cannot give to your children in social engineering when you homeschool them is how to deal with other people. That can't be taught in a vacuum. Hold on a second, y'all. Yeah, you can't be taught how to work things out with people who don't always agree with you, or may not even like you, or who do agree with you and will side with you or whatever. You can't teach that in a vacuum. So when we're talking about the rebel, we're talking about people who more than likely are what we would call sociopaths. They might be low key, low level sociopaths, but somebody who's rebelling all the time, somebody who won't even, well, no. I'm not going to say that you're a problem because you won't go along to get along, because I don't believe in that either. However, there is a time when all of us have to go along to get along. Every battle isn't worth fighting. And that's another word that you can use for going along to get along. Every battle isn't worth fighting. You don't fight every battle or fight everybody who wants to fight you, especially when you are on top, especially when you have that champion in you. There isn't a champion out there who will take on all comers. You didn't get it. You didn't get to be champion by taking on all comers. You got to be champion by taking on those who were worthy opponents. And that's also something that can't be taught in a vacuum. That's also something that can't be taught with homeschooling. As much as I hated school, and trust me, I did not like school, but I understood certain things about it, even when I didn't want to, even when I didn't like to. What I understood about going to school was that, number one, not everybody is going to like you. But the other thing that I learned was not everybody has to. What you have to do is find a way to get to your peaceful place, your comfortable place. That's whether you get everybody on your side, just the people that you need on your side, or if you choose to have none of them on your side. And that's not really an option. You're going to find somebody in school, whether you're talking about preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, junior high, high school, or college. You will find somebody in your school career and in your school life, school party of life, that you will bond to or bond with. You will. That's a guarantee. Nobody gets out of that. Nobody gets out of that. If you never made one friend while you were in school, you were probably homeschooled. Anyway, yeah. So you learn how to work things out in a networking sort of way, or in a friendly some sort of way, or in a resistance sort of way. Either way, you're going to find a way to attract people to you, the right people, and you're going to find ways to be able to get the things that you want. One thing about rebels are that sometimes it's really hard to understand exactly what they want. We know what they're rebelling against. We know about the things that they don't want. But sometimes with rebels, they don't make themselves clear about what they do want. I know we don't have to do that. We ain't got to listen to them. We don't have to do what they say. Okay, that's fine. But what do you want? You just want to be all wild and crazy? Well, I guess sometimes they do make that clear, don't they? They just want to randomly be able to act a fool, or they don't want to suffer the consequences for any of the actions that they partake in. All right. What I was getting to when I started talking about the whole school thing is you may have had a friend while you were in school that did things like put a tack in the chair of a teacher or pull the fire alarm in the hallways. Things like that. Things that were going to bring a lot of heat and bring a lot of problems just because they didn't seem to want to follow the rules. Now, you may have been in secret admiration of people like that. You may have thought they were funny. They may have even been close friends to you. That doesn't necessarily mean that you agreed with the things that they did. Sometimes people are just attracted to people who are wild and crazy and off the chain and who just refused to reform. Refuse to reform. Rebel without a cause. Rebels without a cause. And sometimes we get caught up. We get caught up with people who rebel all the time, and we may admire them. We might admire what we defined as their strength to stand up against the system, fight the power, stick it to the man. But that doesn't mean that's you. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what you want to do. You might not see the benefit of that. So you might not really be a rebel, but what are you? If you're not a rebel, what are you? You're not towing the line. You're not going along to get along. But you're also not causing a bunch of trouble for yourself and putting yourself in positions where you have to answer a bunch of questions and where you have to be put on the hot seat and where you may have rights and privileges taken away from you. So what do you call the person that's not really a rebel, but definitely not a kiss ass? And we're going to get into what a kiss ass is later on in the show. But let's stick to this whole rebel thing first. What are we talking about when we say that you're not really a rebel? Now, when we say that we're not really a rebel, when you say that you're not really a rebel, when you say somebody else is not really a rebel, what are you saying? You may still be talking about somebody who is somewhat resistant, someone who stands their ground, someone who defines their placement, but they just may not be a troublemaker. It's hard to be a rebel and not be a troublemaker. It's hard to be a rebel and not call yourself a trouble seeker. Rebels cause trouble. That's not always what we say about them, but we got to keep it 100. We got to keep it 100, baby. And when you really think about what rebels do, I think it's hard to argue that they don't cause trouble. You know, uh, even when even when they may be rebelling for a positive cause. Like, let's say when you were in school, you asked questions about certain things that you were being taught in school that you didn't agree with. You would definitely be considered a rebel, but not necessarily a troublemaker. All right. Before we get into the whole school thing, let's say you were brought up by religious parents. So you were the type of young person that was in church every Sunday, and you may have been in church all of Sunday. You know how it go. They be having those multiple dad, what do they call when you go to church? You know, the normal one is at 11 o'clock, but sometimes they may have had multiple services. So they might have had an early service, then the regular service, which is around 11 o'clock, then the later service again at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You churching all day, church. Well, what about that little part before you actually went to service, which was Sunday school? What if in Sunday school you started asking questions about biblical stories that the Sunday school teacher couldn't answer or that they felt uncomfortable answering? Imagine being a white kid asking, how and why are how and why did the names of the characters change from the Old Testament to the New Testament? Imagine being a white kid asking that question. Like, how come all of the names in the Old Testament were pretty much Jewish, or should I say, Hebrew names, and then in the New Testament they're all European names? How that work? You know, or maybe you ask about the validity of some of the miracles that are found in the Bible. Like maybe you ask about Noah and the flood. Like they say that two of every animal were put on the ark. Maybe you ask a question like, well, how big would a boat have to be to accommodate each and every animal on this earth? How big is that ark? How? How do you build a boat that big by hand and make it strong enough and non-chaotic enough? Like, so you have, when you think about every animal on this earth, now you're thinking of, on the surface, you may just be thinking about the animals that you know. But when you think about how they wrote it, and they say every animal, two of every animal, and the flood meant that nothing survived in the water, not even the fish. So that meant that the fish two of every fish had to be on that ark. Two of every whale had to be on that ark. A male and a female of every whale, every dolphin, every shark had to be on the ark. Am I taking it too deep? Yeah, well, the rebel is going to take it that deep too. And in Sunday school, when you start asking questions like this, you may make a Sunday school teacher a little angry. You might have got paddled for that. You weren't doing anything wrong, but you were asking the wrong questions. And the wrong questions were the ones that made people uncomfortable because they couldn't answer them. Not only that, but you had to have a male and a female lion on that boat. And a male and a female chicken, a male and a female eagle, a male and a female goat, lamb, All of these animals, were they going along to get along? Like, all right, we know we got to be on this ark, and in order for us to survive into the new world, we got to not eat each other. Even though the only thing we eat are each other. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you may be a rebel in your inquisitiveness. You may just be inquisitive enough to cause trouble, to ruffle feathers, to make people think where they got comfortable. You know, a black kid asking in Sunday school, why does the Bible describe Jesus as being non-white, but we worship that image up there and he's white? And it could have been worse if you knew your history and you found out that image of Jesus was created by Michelangelo in, I believe, 1605 or something like that. Like, that wasn't always the image of Jesus. They didn't always have that image of Jesus. Let me get it right, though, because something didn't sound right about that date. Hold on, y'all. What year was the image of Jesus that Michelangelo drew?
Here's information from Wikipedia.
Okay. All right. The earliest images of Jesus Christ emerged in the 1st through 3rd centuries AD amidst concerns about idolatry. They were less about capturing the actual appearance of Christ than clarifying his role as a ruler or as a savior. Okay, now they say the oldest portrait of Jesus found in Syria dated to about 235, the year 235 AD. Wait a minute. There are many. All right. Michelangelo's Christ in the Last Judgment was in 1534. So you get different stories, but I was under the impression that, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, that's the picture. I believe. Okay. Yeah. That picture of Jesus by Michelangelo put in the Last Judgment. They got I've never actually seen this picture of Jesus. They got Jesus all muscular looking. Jesus got a 6-pack, got muscular arms and all of that shit. Okay. Anyway, you may have asked questions like that. So you weren't really a rebel. You were just seeking out information. Maybe you were thinking about a career and being a research specialist or something like that, a historian or something like that. And you know how when you're dealing with the Bible or the Torah or the Quran, and then you're dealing with actual history, they don't always line up very well with each other. And people start to get, sometimes religious people get a little angry when you start questioning the validity of the history that they know of. They might get a little bent out of shape. It happens, man. It happens. So you're not really a rebel, but you're definitely not a kiss ass. So maybe you were the type that didn't back up off of your questions. And you might have made Sunday school teacher mad. You know, how come you can't just accept these teachings and get ready to go to church later on? Right. You act like one of those kids that had breakfast before y'all came to Sunday school. Should have let us feed you. But anyway, not really a rebel, definitely not a kiss ass. So what are you? Who are you? What label do we affix to your personality? What label do we give to you? If we give you a label at all. And trust and believe, I don't think that we all have to have a label. I don't think that we all have to have a label. However, most of us probably do. So if you're not really a rebel and definitely not a kiss ass, how do you ingratiate yourself to certain people, authority figures, whoever? How do you ingratiate yourself to them without being a kiss ass? You know, and I know very well that there are ways to do this. Don't get me wrong. Sorry. I know that there are plenty of ways to do this. But how do you do it? You know, hardly anyone ever admires someone who kisses ass. Hardly anyone ever admires a person that seems to have their nose, have their face, have their lips all up in somebody's butt, trying to gain favor from them. At the same time, we understand the power and the necessity of networking. We get it. We totally get it. Most of us do. The rebel never understands the necessity or the techniques that the kiss ass employs. The kiss ass is rarely popular with anybody or everybody. Oh, hold on a second. Somebody gotta die. Yep. You got it. You asked for it. You got it, Toyota. Yeah. Hardly anybody ever appreciates the kiss ass, even though we understand the necessity to be nice to people, to sometimes give in order to get. We all have to do it at some point. I don't care how mean you say you are. I don't care how rebellious you say you are. I don't care how independent you say you are. You have to do something for someone at some particular time and be nice to them so that they will recognize you sometimes. Even if you only do it when it comes to love. You know how, like, you may be the meanest, most difficult and stubborn person to all of your friends and family. But there's going to be a man or a woman out there that you are going to want to get close to, that you're going to want to love up on, that you want to be next to. And you ain't going to get close to them or get to love them by being mean to them, by insulting them, by not finding a way to attract them to you. Ain't going to happen. So what are you going to do? You know, and let's say what you get is not always what you can keep. So in order to keep the one that you love, the one that is the object of your affection, you probably have to be nice to them. You might even have to be nicer to them than you are to anybody else. So you got this big reputation as being somebody who is hard. Hard and IDGAF. Hard and DGAF. You know, don't give a fuck. Yeah, I get it, brother. You right. You don't ask nobody for nothing. You don't depend on nobody for nothing. You don't care if nobody likes you. You don't care if anybody hangs with you. You don't care about nothing. But you're going to want some ass, and you're going to want some loving. Lovin, my baby loves me, and I love my baby back. Y'all know that song? That's Tina Marie. Lovin. I need your loving. Just a little loving, this will do. Just a little loving, this will do. It's one of my favorite songs ever. All right. Love's fever coming on strong. Okay. All right. So with your girl, with the girl that you like, or if you're a woman with the boy that you like, you're going to have to be nice to him. And maybe you got to be nice to him even when you're in a bad mood. Because they are your Achilles heel. They are your kryptonite. As mean as you try to be, as rebellious as you try to act, when it comes to them, you might have to bow down. So nobody else can control you. Nobody else can tame you, but they can. And you, although you may not be a kiss ass to them, you may have to treat them the way they want to be treated instead of the way that you like to treat everybody else. They may make you go against the grain. Even when other people are around, they may make you go against the grain and be nice to them in front of everybody else. So everybody gets to see the lion tamed right there, in one of the rings in the circus. So while that lion is yeah, I bet you the lion tamer gets him to jump through that fiery hoop. And that might be you. So you might not be a kiss ass, but you still have to employ some of the techniques that the kiss ass employs. Maybe in order for your girl to be happy with you, you got to bring her some presents. Maybe that's her love language. Her love language is gifts. So you don't come through bearing gifts, whether the gifts are money, whether the gifts are perfume, whether the gifts are candy, whether the gifts are clothes, whatever it is, she likes to have something. And in order for somebody to be with her, they got to come and give up. They got to come and give up some material possessions. Somehow you are submissive to that. So whereas out there in the world, you telling everybody I ain't got to do what you say, man. I don't pay for no ass. I don't do. I don't do. I wish a nigga. I wish a nigga. I don't have to. Yeah, I get it. But with her, you don't come home without bringing her some flowers. You don't come home without calling her and asking her if she needs anything from the store. You don't come through that door without stuff. And you might be seen as inconsiderate if you do. And that may have an effect on whether you're going to get some ass tonight, my homie. And even if it's not tonight, one of these nights, it's going to have an effect on whether you and your lady, your sweetie, your honey pie, your sugar pie honey bun, you know I love you. I can't help myself. I want you and nobody else. What? So you're not a kiss ass, but you extra nice when it comes to your baby. Everybody else get the mean you. She get the seldom unseen you. Or should I say seldom seen you? Mm-hmm. She got the whip on you. So she got that whip appeal. She got that whipping pill. So, yeah. So, yeah, you're not a kiss ass. You're not really a rebel. But there are times when you will do what you need to do in order to get the things that you want to get. Now, even if we take it to the work level or opportunity level in business. Okay, so you're not a kiss ass when it comes to your superiors or your clients or whatever. But I bet you treat them with respect, worthy of them recognizing you if they don't see you, and promoting you if you need that. And you ain't going to get nobody in business to promote you by threatening them, by intimidating them, by making them feel like they are less than whatever position that they hold. Because they will say, well, I have what you need. And I know you want it. Guess what? The only way you can get it is if you act like you know, brother. Act like you know, sister. It's here. It's here if you want it. You don't act like you want it, we ain't gonna act like you gonna get it. But what's not gonna happen is you ain't gonna be shitting on me. You ain't gonna be insulting me. You ain't gonna be yelling at me. You ain't gonna be trying to scare me. You ain't gonna be threatening me and expect me to do something for you. I have what you need. And I might even give you something to do in order for me to give you what you want. Now, I might have what you want and a whole lot more that you don't even know about. I may have something for you that you didn't even think about being able to get yet, or you thought was so far out of reach. Yeah, I might have that for you. And I might even have that for you in mind. But I tell you what, you're going to have to act right. What's going on, Stacey White? What's going on, T. Carey Wright, morning, noon, and night? And what's going on, my brother Ansel Jones is in the house. What's going on, my brother Ansel Jones? Ansel Jones says, I'd rather be corny than lonely. You know, a big part of growth, a big part of being an adult is recognizing that there are some things that you can do that others can't do, and there's some things that others can do that you can't do. And another big part of being an adult is recognizing that there are things that you need to be able to learn. There are things that you need to learn in order to get better. You got to recognize. You better recognize. Sometimes we rebel too far against those things. And we start sounding hateful, sounding jealous and hateful. Well, yeah, I would have that too. If I kissed ass, I would have that too. If I was fucking the boss, I would have that too. If I was somebody's brother, I would have that too. If I was somebody's daughter, I would have that too. I would have that. Yeah, you know what? You can have anything that you want to have. But when you keep saying that you won't do anything in order to get something that you don't have, you're going to probably not have nothing. Now, do you want something or do you not? You don't have to kiss ass, and you might not be a kiss ass, but that doesn't mean the kiss ass can teach you nothing about having the ass kicked and ass licked. And if you want to get what the kiss ass gets, you got to do some of the kiss ass things they do. And got to do it like you know it. And act like you really want to do it and show it. And when somebody understands that you're sincere, kind of like kiss ass, you kiss me right here. One thing that kiss asses do is that they play to people's ego. And that's something that makes some of us sick to our stomach. Playing to someone's ego. Playing to someone's ego. Yeah. It may make you sick to your stomach to have to play to someone's ego, but we all do it. We all do it. Even when we make a sincere compliment or pay a sincere compliment to someone, we still play to their ego. That's what we're doing. So when you tell someone that their hair looks nice, when you tell someone that they look pretty in that dress, when you tell someone that that they're really handsome today, or that you like their shoes, or that you like something that they do, guess what? That's playing to their ego, and people like it. You always remember the people who made you feel good about yourself. You always remember them. And guess what? Some people gravitate towards those people. And those are the only type of people that they ever hang around. That can be destructive. That can be destructive because it can mean that you never rub shoulders you never rub shoulders with people who will help you to develop in areas where you may be weak. But you never forget about the people who were sincere about making you feel good about yourself. You never forget the person or the people that told you that you were pretty or handsome on those days where you didn't feel pretty or handsome. You know? You ever have a bad hair day? You know you have. You ever have a bad draws day? Yes, a bad draws day. When you wear a bad set of underwear, it can ruin your day. For a man, that means you are adjusting your dick all day long. Ugh, God damn it. Ugh. Yeah, a bad pair of drawers will ruin your day. They will take you up out of here, make your whole day uncomfortable. So imagine getting caught out there on a bad draws day. You kind of feel like everybody else can see how uneasy you are, or how unhandsome, or how unpretty you feel. And you never forget the person that comes to you that day and be like, "Yo, I never noticed how pretty your eyes are. Wow, you something else. You be killing them out there, don't you?" And even though they're playing to your ego, maybe they want something from you. Maybe they've always had a crush on you and you weren't really attracted to them. But guess what they did for you today? They did something for you today that you needed. They did something for you today that you wanted. So they played to your ego. And that's what a kiss ass knows how to do. That's what kiss asses are experts at. So we can learn some things from a kiss ass, even though we say that we don't want to learn from them. But we learn from them. We learn from them. We just can't do what they do on a daily basis. We don't have the stamina and endurance to do what they do day in and day out, situation in and situation out. What are you looking at, cat? You all right? Yeah. We don't have what it takes to do what they do. And we don't have the mental and emotional makeup to feel good about ourselves to keep doing what they do in and out. Now, when I say we don't have the mental and emotional makeup to do it, I'm not taking anything away from us, but think about what I said. I'm acknowledging that they have mental and emotional stamina that we just don't have. I know I'm talking about what I don't have. I can't do it. If I kiss ass, it's going to be for one day. This is a one day only sale. But guess what? You can't kiss ass only for one day and get what you want. You got to do it day in and day out. You got to do it. You got to put yourself in a position where they can expect for you to be kissing ass that day. And you got to be ready. Yeah, that's what you got to do. Are you ready? Are you ready? Hell no, you ain't ready. You ain't ready to do that shit. You ain't gonna do that shit. You're gonna find every way and every reason not to have to even think about doing that. But the kiss ass, he ain't gotta think about it. He's already in practice. He ain't gotta think about it. He got it like that. Now I ain't saying that you even want it like that. But I bet you want the things that a kiss ass gets. That's why we be hating on the kiss ass. I know I do. I ain't gonna lie. I be hating on the kiss ass. I be like, nigga, be a man. You know what I mean? Nobody respects a doormat. We may not respect the doormat, but when the doormat ain't there, we don't know what to do with our feet. No, real shit. When the doormat is missing, I'm talking about an actual doormat. Think about when you're used to wiping your feet on a doormat before you come into a place of residence. And when you are so used to wiping your feet on it and it's gone, you're like, I can't just walk up in here with these dirty feet. And here you are trying to wipe your feet on concrete or something like that. Or wipe your feet on the threshold coming into the building or the house or whatever. So the doormat is useful, but we don't always have respect for it. But when it's gone, it's like, I need that doormat. Because if I don't get this doormat, I might be tracking my dirty feet into this place. And that ain't a good look. I was being very cerebral there, very subliminal. But I know if you look at this show on a regular basis, you totally get it. Of that, I am confident. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show. I'm your host, Sun752. And we're talking about not really a rebel, definitely not a kiss ass. By the way, for those of y'all who care about the description of the show, I wrote up this lengthy description and it was all very detailed and all of that. And something happened and I lost the whole description. I wasn't writing that over again. It was already 7 o'clock. It was already 7 o'clock. I was ready to start. I couldn't write that whole thing over again. So I had to just say, look, man, you can get it by the title. If you can't figure it out by the title, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I know that I usually write titles that are little off the cuff from what I actually might be talking about, but not this time. This time, I actually mean exactly what's in the title. Not really a rebel, definitely not a kiss ass. So what are you if you're not a rebel, but you still rebel against certain things? You may still defend yourself or other people against certain people or certain things. You're not a kiss ass, but you can be nice and extra nice when you need to be. You definitely know how to conduct yourself to those who may have opportunities that you need to take advantage of, regardless of how big or how small. You know. So I might not be a kiss ass, but shit. I know that my girl loves that butter almond. She loves that butter almond ice cream. I gotta bring her home some butter almond ice cream because if I bring her ice cream, she does some nice things to me. You figured it out. She be going down on me. Do you understand what I'm talking about? She makes sure that I don't have to figure it out. But I gotta bring the candy, gotta bring the ice cream, and gotta make sure that it seems like I'm all in, and I will play the game and make sure that she screams my name. Y'all understand that she came and I still stayed. She came and I stayed. Do you understand the game that is played? Gotta do what you gotta do. Pick a card, old maid. We gotta make sure that we get what we want. Don't try to act like you're all hard in front, like you are the rebel of everything that comes your way. Like you ain't gotta do nothing, no gotta say nothing to make it happen for you. You know, you and I really know that shit too. So go ahead with all that bullshit, son. Go ahead with all of that. Hold on. Pussy. You are pussy. Okay. We are about to get up out of here. We are about to get up out. We are about to get up out of here. Hope y'all enjoy the show, man. You know what I mean? We could have talked a lot more about this, but I think we've done enough. I think that we've done enough. I think we good. Like I said, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. All right. So we got some birthday shout outs. We got some birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious August 2nd, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. We get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. We get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. We get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Denise Hicks, turning 64 years old today, and Lakeisha Brown turning 39 years old today, and Erica Johnson turning 52 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And Tracy Williams turning 38 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And Carolyn Page, happy birthday to you. And last but not least, Reed Young Reed, turning 43 years old today. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all, and I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every one of y'all born on this glorious August 2nd, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. I rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, man, listen. You're not really a rebel, not really a kiss ass, not really a rebel, not really a kiss ass, not really a rebel, not really a kiss ass. What do you got to do to get by and pass? What do you have to do to get the things that you want? Do you have to act like you're real hard and try to stunt in front, act like you don't need nobody? We all need somebody, each and everybody. You got to act like a hottie sometimes. Man, you even have to shake your ass and twerk. But you got to do something, man. Put in the work. If you want to be out here to be broke like a jerk, got to understand that you got to take it to the next level. Hanging out with the gods every day. The devil want to be the rebel of a positive force. We ain't going to do that shit. Got to do what we got to do, of course. And I know that you understand the words that I speak. Yeah, we got to get to the peak at the top of the mountain and drink from the fountain of youth. Make sure we get in the booth. Make the best songs that we can make for us, that we listen to over and over and discuss. How come the lyrics be sounding so good and the music makes us want to blow up the hood? When I say blow up the hood, I mean making sure that we make sure to get the word out, yo. And make sure that we feel good out here, though. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow for another Daily Go-Getimism show. So make sure, I said, make sure Y'all stay right. Okay. All right, so Blog Talk, we gonna get you out of here. Yeah. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobas. Coming on the other side, my boobas. Yeah, word on the other side, my boobas. Yeah, peace, y'all. Love is love, baby.